All right, we are live. Let me just make sure that you guys can hear me. Give me 1 second to make sure that everything is piping in. We are live. Yes, we are. Okay, so looks like everything is on point. Okay, you guys, I know you're probably saying that I am missing someone. And yes, I am. Yes, I am. I am missing Jen. Jen is not going to be with us today because she is actually at work. Okay, she was called in to do an afternoon shift today. So it is me by myself. I am soloing it, but I think I can handle this. So let me know who is in the chat. Let me come on down here to see, say hello. Let me see who's there. And our topic for today is going to be a serious one. Okay, it's going to be a serious one. And I know it is one that Jen would agree with if she was here with us. Okay, so again, the comments are open. You may post them there if you want to, you see I'm by myself today. So give me some feedback. Let's have some talking going back and forth. Okay. All right. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys can hear okay and everything is on point. So with today's topic, you guys, it's really a serious topic, and it's talking about how to turn your pain into progress. And when I was thinking about this topic and I was thinking about how really deep it is, sometime in everyone's life, your life, my life, I don't care whose life, sometime in all of our lives, we are going to experience pain. We're going to experience situations in our lives that could bring us to the ground, could actually crumble us, could, put us in an emotion that is very, and I'm thinking about this because I'm feeling it as I'm saying it. Having these valley experiences, having these experiences, these situations in your life that could paralyze you, it could really put you in a state of depression. It could put you in a state of not, being able to feel the way that you want to feel or react in a situation the way that you want to react, or, put you in a situation of being able to be your best at work, being able to be your best at home. All of these situations could really, really distract you, in your everyday life. And so that's why I want to talk about today. If you're going through this experience, if you have gone through this experience, if this experience actually comes up in the future, because there's going to be a time in all of our lives that this is going to happen. How do you take that pain and how do you begin to convert that pain, that hurt, that depression, all of those emotions that we just talked about earlier? How do you take that and convert that now into your power? How do you do that? What are the steps that you take in doing that? So let's talk about it. Okay. So the first thing is, let me tell you all this quote that I found, and I had to write it now so I won't forget it. But let me tell you this quote that I found. It says, "To live is to suffer. To survive is to find some meaning in your suffering." Oh my goodness. Now that is huge within itself. Let me read it one more time. To live is to suffer. So what does that mean? And like I stated earlier, there's going to be some time in all of our lives where we're going to experience something we just don't want to have to deal with. We're going to experience situations that we have to deal with. We're going to experience something that's going to hurt us, that we're going to experience, an emotion or a situation or a relationship or a situation in a job that is going to hurt us. You're going to deal with a situation in your life that's going to make you cry. And so that's what that means. To live is to suffer. You cannot get away or get around these situations that will bring about some suffering. Okay. But the next part of this says is to survive. That means learning how to live in spite of, learning how to live in spite of. To survive is to find some meaning in the suffering. Okay. So this is understanding, what lesson was I supposed to learn in this? Why did I need to go through this experience? Why did this have to happen to me? Sometimes people say that, why did this have to happen to me? Why did I have to experience this? Why me? How many of you all have done the why me's? Why me? Okay, but you were put in that situation for a specific reason. You were put in that situation to learn something. You might have been put in that situation not for you, but for somebody else to grow. Okay, because see, we all have choices in this. We all have choices in trying to understand, when I experience this, how do I get out of it? And I see I'm lagging a little bit, so hopefully. Okay, I saw I was lagging a little bit, so hopefully it's catching up now. But again, we were put in these situations to try to figure out, what is the lesson that you have to learn? But again, it might not be about you. You may be put in a situation with somebody else, and it's the. So now let's try to figure out the different steps to get to, and how to maneuver your way through this pain, and how to take that pain and convert it now into your power. Okay. Number one, I cannot stress that enough. You have to let yourself feel the problem. You have to let yourself feel the pain. You have to let yourself feel the emotions of this. And that's the part people don't want to deal with. That part right there. You don't want to feel the pain. You don't want to allow that pain to take you over. You simply do not. Okay. And why? Because it hurts. I know it hurts. I'm sorry, my hair in the back right here. Let me try to adjust this so I can get, because my neck is going through. Remember, this is live now, so my neck was going through. Okay, thank you. Now let me keep going. But you don't want to feel the pain. You don't want to acknowledge the pain. You don't want to allow that pain to go down into your spirit and your soul. You don't want it to get into this area right here, because this is the area right here. When you swallow that pain and you acknowledge that pain, so your mind has to acknowledge it. But when it gets down in here, this is the part where it really hurts. When it hits you here, and then some people might even get a stomach ache. Your stomach may start hurting. That's feeling it. Let your body feel it. Let your body embrace what's happening. Okay. You can't skip that step. Everybody's timing on that's going to be different. It might take somebody maybe a week to be able to feel their way through that pain, or it may take somebody a year to feel their way through that pain, because you have to embrace it. So how do you feel? How do you embrace? Because there's even steps in that. First thing you have to do, you have to acknowledge. You have to acknowledge it. You have to acknowledge that it is what it is. And that's another point right there that people don't want to deal with. They don't want to have to deal with acknowledging that this person did this to me, or I did this to someone. You gotta put it where it is. Okay. And see, the thing about it is that the longer it takes you to feel this situation, this emotion, this pain from a relationship, from a job situation, from a business arrangement, whatever this, however long it takes you to feel it, however long it takes you to acknowledge it, that's how long you're going to stay in it. That's how long you're going to be in it. Okay. And so you have to begin to toughen up to the point that you can feel it and you acknowledge it. And that's the thing. So how do you acknowledge? Let's talk a little bit about how do we acknowledge it. Well, first of all, it is good if you can have a conversation with the person that you're going through this situation with. If you can have that conversation, because you talking it out, you talking it through with them, it's you acknowledging what is going on. Either you're acknowledging your part, Or you may be just bringing to the surface, not only your part in this, but their part as well, and kind of try to come to some type of compromise. And again, it's not about them, because they may not be rational with you. They may not want to talk with you. They may not want to even discuss it. They may not. And that's okay too. But again, it's not about them. It's about you trying to process this situation. It's about you trying to work through the pain. It's about you trying to acknowledge this situation. And so just going through, again, our first couple of steps, you got to feel it. Feel the pain, acknowledge the pain, digest the pain. Okay. Yes. Let it get down in your soul. Let it get down in your spirit. I like to watch Iyanla, make sure I say her name right, Bonsant. I hope I said it right. Fix My Life. And, sometimes when somebody wants to cry and you can see them, trying to hold back the tears, and she's like, no, let it out. Let it out. That's what I'm talking about, feeling it. If you have to cry, cry. If you have to scream, scream. If you have to lay prostrate on the ground, then do that. Whatever you need to do to allow those emotions to get in your body, this is what you have to do. You have to do that. And then acknowledging it, having that conversation, if you can, in some situations. Okay. And so you're just letting the person know that you're acknowledging them. So whatever you have to do to kind of get through that situation, then you're just going to need to, go through those different steps. All right. So the next thing is number 3. And I saw I was lagging. So again, you guys, there's something going on with the internet today. So I'm going to keep going, and hopefully everything just catches up with me. Okay. So the next one is challenging your perspective. Challenging your perspective in things. Challenging your perspective in a situation. So what does that mean? When you challenge your perspective, what you have to do, you have to ask yourself, did I see that right? Did I make the right decision in that situation? Did I do the best that I could? And this is what's serious here, because that's the part where people really get hung up. They really get hung up in challenging themselves to see and say to myself, did I do it right? Did I do it right? Really, really challenging yourself to understand, did I do it right? Did I look at that the way that I should have looked at it? Did I make the right decision in that? Did I handle that situation right? Challenging yourself and asking yourself that if you're on the other side of this problem, if you're on the other side of this situation, did you handle it right? Challenging yourself from your perspective, okay? And challenging yourself from somebody else's perspective. That is the challenge right there. And again, it's all a part of that feeling. It's all a part of that acknowledging. And now what we're doing is we're challenging ourselves to ask ourselves, did I handle that situation right? Did I do the right thing in that situation? Did I make the right choice in that situation? Did my choice bring hurt or harm to somebody? Really ask yourself, or is it me not making a choice? Is it me not making a decision bringing hurt or harm to somebody? See? This is the challenge that I'm talking about in that perspective, challenging your perspective in this, challenging yourself and really asking yourself those hard questions. All right. And so the next thing is, and this is what we kind of talked about last week, the importance of kind of surrounding yourself with positivity, surrounding yourself, with people that can put you in the right mindset. Surrounding yourself with people that are the right influence of your life, in your life, can be the right influence in your life. This is so important. This all of the steps are important, you guys. Every last step that we just talked about, All of it is important. And all of it is steps that you have to go through to turn that pain that you're experiencing, taking that pain and turning it into power. All of it. But this one right here, surrounding yourself. So say, for instance, you get your mind right. Say, for instance, that you feel the pain. Say, for instance, you have acknowledged the pain of the situation. Now, say, for instance, that you've challenged yourself in your perspective, asking yourself, did I make the right decision? Did I do the right thing here? And then after you do that, now you surround yourself and you go back around negativity with people that's gossiping, people that could fill your head with the wrong perspective. All the work that you've done is not worth it now. Okay, all the work that you've done has gone to naught, literally. Okay, because now you have to start all over again with the process because you have allowed yourself to you have surrounded yourself with negativity, and you have allowed yourself to be in a space where you could be brainwashed to go right back, or not just go back, but be stuck right at that spot and you won't go past it. And it's not you now that's thinking something, it's somebody else's thoughts that they have put in your mind. You guys, this happens all day, every day. It happens all day, every day. People are stuck in situations right now. Their soul and their spirit tells them that it's wrong. Their soul and their spirit tells them what they're doing is wrong. But they are so afraid of going against somebody else. And do you hear what I'm saying here? You're so afraid of going against what somebody else thinks that you'll stay in a situation that you know is wrong. You'll make a decision that you know is wrong. You'll make a choice that you know is wrong, not for yourself, because you're trying to save face with somebody else that's not paying your bills, somebody else that's not taking care of you, somebody else that possibly lives in another household. And even if they live in the same household with you, and if you're doing the wrong thing, if you're not challenging your perspective, you're not challenging your choice in a situation that has brought hurt or harm to somebody, if you're not doing that, and your soul and your spirit is telling you you're doing the wrong thing, both of y'all are losing. Everybody's losing in that situation, but you're losing more. Okay, so let me keep going. Because I know I jumped around. I felt that one a little bit. so let me keep moving. The next thing you have to do is you have to stay active. You have to stay active. And I'm going to talk about my own experience in just a minute, but this stage right here, this staying active, that's your survival piece right there. That's your survival piece. You know why? Because if you stay active, and if you stay busy, you're not going to have time to worry about anything else that's going on around you. You're not going to have time. I'm telling you, if you've been through all those steps that we just talked about and taking that pain, taking that hurt and changing it into your power, which is feeling it, acknowledging it, right? Challenging your perspective, and then surrounding yourself with positivity, staying out of the way of negative influences. If you've done all those 4 steps, and now you're on the 5th one where you're staying active, that's now what you're doing is you have built this foundation of positivity. You built this foundation of having a positive influence. You dealt with the pain. You've acknowledged the pain. You've challenged yourself to make sure, have I made the right decision? Have I made the right choice? Now you're challenging somebody else's perspective. Have I allowed someone to brainwash me in this? Have I allowed somebody to brainwash me into doing wrong and saying something wrong and making a wrong choice? And then when you take all of that, and now you begin to get active in changing your life. You begin to get active in aspiring to a specific goal. You begin to get active in getting your environment in order and just making sure that you're doing right by yourself day in and day out. All of that is important. All of that is important. All of that is extremely important. But again, like I was telling you guys, there's a process in taking that pain and turning that pain into your power, okay? And none of these steps can be jumped over. You can't jump over these steps. Each one of these steps has to be acknowledged. Each one of these steps has to be walked through. Each one of these steps has to be experienced, Okay. And so the next step after you're staying active, because you're taking your activeness and you're turning that towards yourself. Okay. And again, just a few minutes after I get through these steps, I'm going to tell you how I did it for my own life. And one thing about this, I'm not going to tell you anything I haven't done myself. Okay. So just realize that. The next thing is, after you've been through those first 5 steps, okay, and staying active means that you are actively dealing with these negative emotions. I want to make sure I stress that, because that's an important piece right there. When you're staying active, what you're doing is that you're building muscle now to deal with all of the negativity. You are actively being able to make sure you keep that negative energy from around you. Make sure you put a barrier around you, okay, of this negative. It could be your own negative emotions, but when you're staying active, you have built in place a self-defense mechanism, okay? So you are, for yourself, you're staying active, but if negative emotions set in, sadness, right? Depression, anger, okay, a lot of times people will experience anger, through a situation. Sometimes even we know this, people sometimes even turn to drugs and alcohol just to numb the pain of it. But that's all that is what I'm talking about, those negative emotions, those negative situations. If you're staying active, you have to build something in place to handle that. And what do you build in place to handle that? Very simple. You stay so busy that you're too tired to deal with these negative emotions. You're too tired to deal with negative energy. You're too tired to deal with negative people. And I'm telling you, it works. You guys, I'm telling you, it works. It works. If you are so tired, if you're so active that you're working on you, but you're doing it from the right perspective. Again, keep in mind, it's that right perspective, whereas you're not skipping the other steps that we talked about. You're dealing with those steps, and then you're working on you. Because look at it like this. Let me just give you the scenario and just think about this for a minute. What if we're on the step with, you're challenging your perspective, right? You did not challenge your perspective in a situation and you were wrong. The choices that you made were wrong. You allowed somebody to get in your ear about somebody and they were wrong. What if you didn't challenge yourself and looking at something from another perspective, and you knew, and your soul knew, and your spirit knew that you were wrong? And then what you say is, well, you know what? I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to work on me. Do you really think you working on you is going to receive a blessing? Do you really think that? Do you really think that anything you put your hand on is going to be blessed? And I really want you to acknowledge that question. And this is where people get hung up. It's in this situation just like this. It's in situations just like this, where they want to forget, they want to skip, they want to jump over, right? They don't want to acknowledge anything that they've done. And they just going to say, I'm just going to focus on me. I'm just going to work on me. Do you really think that you're going to be blessed in anything you put your hand in if you brought harm to someone, if you've hurt someone, if you have created this world for someone where they're having to live in pain and work their way out of pain at the hands of you or those that's around you? Do you really think you focusing on you and making it all about you now and not worrying about anybody else, do you really think you're going to be blessed? Do you? No. You're not going to be blessed. You know what's going to happen? You're going to stay right in that same position and condition that you're in now, and you won't see any growth. It reminds me of the tree in the Bible when Jesus begins to talk about the tree and how you can tell the tree by the fruit that it bears. And if your doings, your everyday activities, your life, if it's all wilted up, if no leaves are growing, if you're in the same condition today that you were in yesterday, that you were in last month, that you were in last year, if there's no growth, if your tomorrow looks the same as your today, and your today looks the same as it did yesterday, you're dealing with a tree that's dried up because there's no growth. There's no growth. There's no growth. And when you see a tree that has no growth, you have to look at what's happening with the root. Is the root getting watered by fresh water, fresh living water? Is anybody watering the tree with good nutrients? Okay? This is what we're talking about here, you guys. And again, I'm going to say it over and over and over again. You can't skip over any of these steps. In order to take that pain and make it work for you and turning that pain into power, you have to deal with these steps. You have to. Next step, accepting the situation as is. They may not want to talk to you ever again. Accept it and move on if you've done everything that you can do. Now, if you haven't done everything you can do and you haven't been through these steps, you haven't accepted it, right? You can only accept when you've been through the steps, and now this is what you're left with. But you've done the work. And that's what it's about, asking yourself, did you do the work? Are you doing the work? Are you doing the necessary work that it takes to take that pain and turn it into power, whether they forgive you or not, right? Because it's not about them, it's about you. But that last step is not only to accept the situation as is, but you have to forgive the people that have harmed you, that hurt you, or you have to forgive yourself for what you've done to others. That forgiveness piece is a big one as well. And so let me just, now that we've been through all of the steps, let me just talk about how I handled that. And there's been several times in my life where I had to deal with somebody's BS or my own BS. Okay. Now you see how I already pushed myself through the process. I said not only somebody else's BS, but my own BS. Okay. Okay, because like I said before, life is about learning. Life is all about experiences. Life is about taking the good with the bad, knowing what to do with it, knowing how to bottle that up and use it for your good. That's what this is all about. Okay. And so in my own life, I've had several different situations, you guys, where I had to take the pain of what somebody had said, the gossip, the hurt, the lies of what somebody, and it completely untrue, okay, from the top to the bottom. But this went far out into the world, into the communities. It went to so many people that, sometimes things can be so out of hand that the only thing you can do is just sit back and just shake your head, because it can really just get that out of control. Okay. And that's what happened to me with a situation. It was been a couple situations in my life where I was lied on. I know one time it happened at a church that I was at. I was lied on, didn't even know the lies was going around about me. I'm going to church, coming home every Sunday. And I noticed that people started to change towards me. People stopped talking to me, and I didn't even know why until somebody had the heart. Hey, see, remember I tell you have to have strength. Somebody had the heart to acknowledge, okay, that they were going to tell me the truth. And once I realized what the truth was, I was able now to address the situation. And I addressed it in a way, again, not bringing any disrespect to my own self, dealing with that situation, acknowledging that situation, challenging the perspective, making sure that I kept positive energy and influences around me. Because that was important, because everybody that was a carrier of that gossip, I removed them from my circle. I had to remove them for my own survival. Because how can I have now these people surrounding me that I know have been a carrier of gossip that was not true, that was a carrier of lies that was not true? I can't have them in my space anymore, because my mind would never be free. My mind would not be free unless there's a sincere meeting of the minds as far as both sides acknowledging what is happening, both sides going through this process that we talked about, both sides accepting what is, okay, both sides acknowledging the different person's perspective and what they may have thought and what they may have done, right, wrong, or indifferent, okay, but accepting it for what it is. And the last one is forgiving it. That takes both sides, you guys. I hate to hear people say, just forgive them and move on. Yes, you can do that for your side. You can forgive the situation, but you can't move on with somebody if they're not wanting that forgiveness piece. That's impossible. That's why I don't like to hear people say that. That is humanly impossible. You cannot move on from a situation and let it be healed. I'm talking about it being healed now. It can't happen unless both sides are willing to forgive that situation and move on together. It takes both sides for a complete situation to be healed. You can't have healing on one side. That's just like if you get a scab on your arm, okay? Not only does the outside have to heal, but the layer up underneath has to heal as well. It takes both healing to have a complete healing. To have a complete healing, it takes both. Okay. And so it takes both people to have a complete healing. It takes both giving forgiveness for that situation to be able to move. Okay. For people to become unstuck. So again, in my own life, I had to go through all of these emotions. Okay. I had to feel the hurt and pain of these people not talking to me anymore. In all the situations I've been through, to be honest with you, I'm thinking about every last one of them. And it's kind of identical because people stopped talking to me. I didn't know what was going on, was clueless. I'm the last one to find out about situations that I'm in, and then that's about me. And I'm the last to find out. So, and then, feeling that hurt of the people that participated in it. So all of that right there, I had to feel it. My body I'm telling you, one of those pains was so deep that my heart actually started hurting. And I'm not lying to you. No, I felt my heart, the tightening of my heart. That's just how hard that and deep that pain was. I felt it, but I knew I had to feel it because remember I told you that step right there, that could be a very, very long stage right there. If you don't allow yourself to feel it, you gotta let your body feel the pain. And then I had to acknowledge what it was. Just acknowledging, look, it is what it is. This happened. They made that decision. They did that. These are the facts. I can't get away from the facts. Let me acknowledge exactly what I'm seeing here. Even acknowledging it from my side. I have to acknowledge what the parameters are and what the situations are for these what the dynamics are for these situations that we're in. I have to acknowledge it. And then the next thing is, remember I told you, I had to challenge my perspective saying, now, wait a minute. Did you make a wrong decision in this? Did you do something that was wrong? Would you do what you did and why you did it? If you stand firm on that, and again, you're making a decision that's not bringing hurt or harm to anyone. That's the key there. Not bringing any hurt, not bringing any harm to anyone, just making sure that you're doing things from the right standpoint. That's important. That's so important. And then the next thing is, remember I told you, after you challenge your perspective, to ask yourself, did I make the right decision in this? Did I do something? Let me see everything from their perspective. Let me see it from their perspective. Did they really just ass up in a situation and just do something that was that corrupt and low down? Or is there something that I'm missing here? This is what happens when you challenge your perspective. Okay. And then the next thing I told you is now you got to surround yourself with these positive people. You cannot go back into a negative environment with negative people. Because if you surround yourself with negative people, well, you surround yourself in these negative environments that you get on the telephone and you allow these people to start brainwashing you again, right? And start getting in your head again, start filling your head up again with all this stuff. Listen, I've seen it happen. I've seen people turn a mother against a child, turn a father against a son, turn a best friend against a best friend. I've seen them getting people's heads and do it. Ruin 20, 25, 30-year relationships, all for foolishness. And because both parties don't want to go through these steps. So it's being forever stuck. It's going to your death, being forever hateful, being forever mad at someone and not really wanting to deal with or not really want to heal a situation. So sad. And then the next one is, remember, staying active. When you stay active and you start pouring that energy into you, I'm telling you, you will change yourself to the point you won't even recognize you. You won't even recognize you anymore. And that's exactly what I did for this last hurrah that I've been through. Because I told you in life, we're going to go through the ups and we're going to go through the downs. So for this last situation that I was in, I decided I'm going to take all of my energy and I'm going to pour it into me. And when I did that, I literally tripled everything that God had given to me. I tripled my license in 3 states. I tripled being an instructor. I even got my life insurance license. I'm just telling you. I mean, just oh my gosh! And when you're doing it right, when you're doing things the way that you're supposed to do it, it's like things just happen. But it's not all about the external. I want to talk about this for a minute. It's not all about receiving things. Okay. It's not all about, receiving the licenses or, all of this, it's good. Okay, don't get me wrong. It's good because it shows that you put your work in, but it's not all about that. The biggest goal for me, what I was trying to find is my peace. I just wanted to find my peace. I just wanted to be happy. I just wanted to smile again and really feel the smile. I wanted peace because, when God says he'll give you peace that passes all understanding, I'm telling you guys, it's real. That kind of peace is real. And it's not, again, that you're disrespecting other people. It's not that you're disrespecting people in a situation. That's not what we're saying. It's not that. But when you see someone who's been through a lot in their life, when you see someone who's been through the fire, okay, when you see someone who's been wronged and they come out on the other side, what did they do? They took all of that pain and they turned it into power by following the steps that we've talked about. And that's what it looks like. And I'm going to say this as well. When you go through pain, when you go through situations, do you know that you were ordained to go through that? That right there, that's yours. And you have a choice to stay in that negative mind space and not live again, because you won't live again. I'm just telling you right now, you won't live again. Oh, no. You won't live again. You won't find peace. And this is even those that have decided that you're going to jump on somebody else's bandwagon and you're wrong and they're wrong. You're going to be stuck too. Everybody's going to be stuck. No growth. You're going to be that tree that we talked about earlier. You see these trees behind me? You see how beautiful these trees are? They're all shiny. The leaves are all shiny. That's not what yours will look like. Nope. It'll be all wilted up with no growth if you stay in a negative space, make bad choices, not process the way that we just told you to process your pain, ignore situations, jump on somebody else's bandwagon when they're wrong, which makes you wrong too. All of that right there. You won't be able to turn that pain into power. What it is, you're just turning pain into more pain. That's what's going to happen. You're just going to take that pain and you're just going to keep multiplying and multiplying into more pain and more pain and more pain. You'll never be free. And that's what it's about. You want to experience freedom. You want to experience a place of being able to really be free, really be at peace, really be able to go to sleep and really not have to dodge someone if you see them in a grocery store, at a restaurant, or at a gas station. you know, really being free where you're able to acknowledge people, where you're able to really say hi to them. If you're not in that place with other people, because it ain't nobody I'm going to dodge, I'm going to speak to everybody. I sure am. Now, how much I speak, that may be different, but I'm going to acknowledge you and I'm going to respect you. But remember, I was telling you again, when you're processing yourself through this, you got to make sure you're keeping those energies right, that your sacred, I call it your sacred space. That's what I call it. For me, it's called my sacred space. So I have a sacred space. And there are only a few people that can enter that space with me because I'm very guarded. I'm very guarded with that space because the thing about it is I want to stay happy. I want to stay upbeat. I want to stay positive. I don't want to move into a negative realm. I just simply don't. Okay. I want to keep that feeling that God has finally given me back after going through those situations, because you may lose it for a minute, but once you learn how to smile again, once you learn how to have that peace that passes all understanding, once you begin to process, acknowledge, accept all of this, baby, ain't nowhere to go but up. It's nowhere to go but up. So you guys, we have come to the end of Tough Talk 911. I've missed my Jen. So Jen hopefully will be back with us next Sunday. And you guys, I thank you for those who popped in and popped out. So we had a lot of popping going on today. Remember to follow us on all social media platforms. Okay. Remember that we have our Cash App. Let me see if I can get it right now. Scrolling at the bottom. You see that? There it is. It's scrolling. We have our Cash App, Tough Talk 911. So you guys, any donation there's no small donations where it comes to what we're trying to do. And everything helps us to continue to try to give you a wonderful program. Okay. And so this was Tough Talk today. Hopefully we'll be back with Jen next Sunday. And I know we have a couple topics that you guys have thrown out and we're going to tackle each one of them. But let me just run through the steps one last time in taking your pain and turning it into power. And also, we could have used this earlier, taking that pain and turning it into purpose. But remember the first one, feel it. Just feel the emotions. Just take it in. Feel, let your body feel. Let your soul feel it. Let your spirit feel. Okay? And then acknowledge. Listen, don't leave any stones unturned with this. Acknowledge everything that has happened in this situation, including your part, right? Including your part. Don't just acknowledge everybody else's stuff. Everybody else's stuff and your stuff, okay? Both. And then challenge your perspective. Challenge yourself and asking yourself, did I really make the right decision in this? Did I really make the right choice in this? Did I really do this right? Challenge yourself. Challenge your perspective and challenge their perspective. Try to look at it from somebody else's perspective. And the next thing is begin to surround yourself with positive people. See, when you begin to surround yourself with positive people, you're going to easily be able to identify who the negative ones are. And it's so important to surround yourself with negative people because you need to keep that energy right. And go back and look at our last Tough Talk when we talked about that energy. And so now, after you surround yourself with this positive energy, you need to stay active because that positive energy is going to fuel you in the right direction. It's going to fuel you to listen, baby, to begin to turn yourself all the way around, to begin to make that turnaround, that makeover, those goals, anything that you've been wanting to achieve in life. That positive energy is going to be like fuel for an airplane, and it's going to help you take off. Also, in those steps, though, remember I was telling you, you need to build something that's going to help you deal with negative influences, okay, even negative emotions, because you could be fine and somebody will call you and say, oh my God, they at it again. You should see what they did, or you should see what they posted, or you should see, all those you should sees that can kind of derail you. Have something in place that's going to be a barrier to deal with those negative emotions. It could mean that when you hear something, from the negative side again, that you decide you're going to read a book, or you have a task that you say you're going to work on, or you decide to put that into cleaning out your house, cleaning out your drawers. Have something in place to deal with that negative. I call it like a negative trap, because that's what it is. It's a negative trap. And then after you stay active and you build yourself to deal with these negative emotions, negative scenarios that may pop up here or there, accept what the situation is. Just accept it. Just accept. It is what it is. Accept the whole gamut of the situation. Accept the reality of what's happening. And then forgive. And remember, I told you, forgiveness, you guys, in order for a situation to heal totally, forgiveness has to come from both sides. I don't care what you heard. I don't care if people say forgive and move on. They lying. You can't forgive and move on. You can move on, but it'd be hard to really heal the situation. You can forgive them from your side, but what I'm saying here, for a situation to be totally healed, it takes forgiveness on both sides to really put it to rest. And really everybody having a clean slate, it takes both sides. And 9 out of 10 times what we see over and over and over again in a lot of situations that are at a standstill, a lot of situations that aren't moving, a lot of situations where people go to their death hating someone, is because they couldn't do it. They weren't mature enough to handle it. They weren't mature enough to go through the steps that we talked about. And it's okay. It's okay. Just know that's just a situation, a relationship that you're going to have to chalk up as being one that you may have to go to your grave on. And that's the acknowledging that we're talking about here. This is putting on your big girl pants and your big boy pants, and acknowledging that that situation may be a wash, because it takes both sides to heal it. And if it can't, start working on your plan B, right? Or your plan C. All right, you guys, I have talked out. I'm tired. Miss Jen. You guys, I love you so much. And I'm going to end Tough Talk 911. Remember to follow us on all social media platforms. Okay. Instagram. We have a Facebook group and a Facebook page. And we have this YouTube channel that you can go back and play it back at any time. You can also play it back on my page or Jen's page. All right, you guys. Until next time. Bye-bye.